We came so far from dreams. The path was hard for me. They thought we fall, you see. Well, look at us now, look at us now. We make it hot when we on the scene, yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team, yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around, you know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we. Tell me who better than we. We soaring to places you never could reach. When we walk in that spot, don't hear none of you speak. Shh, do you want peace or the peace? A king about to put you to sleep. Listen, my team is elite. You not even qualified to compete. He starving, he barely can eat. I guess that's why he always itching for beef. So I put him on ice and I told him to chill. Close your mouth if you can't pay for the meal. Making statements that you know you don't mean. Nice guy trying to act like he mean. Keep it a buck, keep it a bean. Attitudes will put you dudes in the beam. Izuku, he don't live in reality. Shake back off, become a fatality. Yeah, how you gon' hate when you mirror us? He think he a star, he ain't serious. X him out, we not on the same frequency. If you broke, you ain't hearing us. Work the screw, anime, that's how I feel, period. We winning, that's making them furious. We make it high when we on the scene, yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team, yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around, you know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we.
Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leon Mookie here, back with you with another new part of What If Izuku Can Summon Espers. This is part 2. And again, thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate it. Sorry that the last part was pretty damn long as well. Remember, unlike that of my other summon what ifs, the Espers are literally their own person, and they listen to Izuku, but they don't need to be around him 24/7 after all. They're free to have their own life outside of Izuku from time to time, even though most of it is for the benefit of Izuku. So yeah. Alright, let's go with that of a recap, even though it may not be seen necessary. 2 years have now gone by since Izuku gained that of the turntable and able to summon that of Espers from another world. And through those 2 years, he's gained that of a bond with each and one of the Espers. Even that of last year, he gained that of 3 new Espers: Leona, Hongyu, and Lin Zhao. However, even with that of his Espers by his side, and even impacting Izuku's life in a positive way, the world itself, and mainly those from Aldera Junior High, continue to try and put him down. Even with all of the training, all of the sparring, all of the improvements he's done to finally stand up for himself and also try to achieve his dream, no matter what, it's not enough. Not even when he interacted with that of the sledge villain, able to hold his own, with even meeting All Might and asking him the same thing he would have in canon: is it possible to become a hero without a quirk? With All Might showing him his true form, well, unwillingly, due to him being out of time, his injuries, and even telling him that it's impossible to be a hero without a quirk. However, thanks to that of his Espers, reassuring him even as soon as they heard this, and not only that, Izuku's shown what he's truly capable of, as a dormant power ever since gaining the turntable and meeting the Espers has finally awakened, as he gains the powers of Yongchan and saves Bakugo from the sledge villain, showing he has a connection to his Espers more than just summoning now. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? A couple months have now passed since that of the sledge villain incident. 3 months. It's been 3 months since then, and currently Izuku's at Dagobah Beach, cleaning up the beach as well, while also his Espers being there too to keep an eye on him. Well, mainly that of Yongchan, Hongyu, Parmi, and Leona, as they currently see Izuku basically picking up garbage from that of the once prestigious beach, now become that of a illegal landfill, with Izuku currently lifting and putting it on that of a old pickup truck, and huffing, saying, "You know, I've done my fair share of lifting, and if it wasn't for that of Master Yongchan's, training training regimens, I think this would be a lot more harder than before. But then, Young Chung basically crossing his arms saying, see this as basically an advanced level of you working out, Izuku. But personally, I still think that it's not worth it. With then soon Parmy saying, I agree. Don't you think that this training method is unnecessary, Mr. Yagi? As she tilts her head, almost like that of a, well, cute and adorable way that makes the 20-year-old woman kinda, well, adorable if she wasn't in her mid-20s. But then, the man known as Yagi, or Toshinori Yagi, hero name, All Might as we know him as, can help but say, I know that this seems a little bit rough and unnecessary. But then Hong Yu saying, unnecessary? Absolutely complete and total idiotic. I've told Izuku this multiple times when he started training with everybody. His body is not made for full-on strength building. His body type was made for ability, for speed and agility. He's able to handle endurance, I will say that. But his body is not made for weightlifting or unnecessary muscle growth after all. It's why I basically made a schedule. It's the reason why I made a health routine after all to help train him. However, then looking over to the other side, the beach nearly looks quite clear due to several months of training. The beach almost seems in that of tip-top shape. With Parmy saying, it almost looks great enough. The beach looks somewhat perfect, don't you all agree? Looking at the tan-skinned woman, they all couldn't help but agree that the beach almost looks perfect. With Yang Chan could help say, thanks to all the training I did with the boy, it makes sense that he would come this far, after all. With Leona saying, I wish I could help him out too, though, but this is his training. All we can do is basically help him out in case he overdoes anything. When Hong Yi couldn't help but say, which is most of all the damn time. Well then, Yong Chung couldn't help but smirk saying, that's Izuku for you. Hardworking to a fault, if it means putting too much on his shoulders, after all. Hong Yu couldn't help but basically scoff saying, it's what I love about him, but also despise as well. As the bunny-eared, fashionable Chinese woman couldn't help but scoff at this. Before then, Parmy saying, your words say one thing, but your heart and your emotions say other. Hong Yu, within, the medical professional couldn't help but basically scoff saying, just chemical reactions of the body. Nothing more, nothing less. My words are still sound, Parmy, as she adjusts her sunglasses. With then, All Might saying, still, I'm glad that young Midori and the rest of you are here to help out as well. It means a lot. I'm still surprised that you're all willing to allow him to take One for All to begin with. I'm guessing that training regimen you all made is working out quite well, to be honest. I have to thank both of you, Young Chuan, Hong Yu. Within, Hong Chang couldn't help but laugh, uncrossing his arms, saying, just doing what I do best. Protecting those who need help, and I had my fair share of students after all. Izuku was tricky, especially given the training I had to put him through. But now I had to make sure to give him the proper training while also improving his spearmanship as well. Going to take time developing his body and having him relearn all his skills. But all the same, I'm glad I can help out my student improve and gain a new power after all. However, on the other hand, I still think pushing the boy to gain that of more muscle mass may cause some problems in the future, if you ask me though. Izuku's still growing and he still needs to improve his body more. So it's hard to say how this training regimen is going to work, to be honest, if you ask me. Within, Hong Yi couldn't help but scoff saying, that's why I made sure to get the perfect training regimen and training plan for that of Izuku. Technically, he doesn't have the body to handle that of power or weightlifting and stuff like that. That's why that whole American dream plan of yours, All Might, was so ridiculous, if I do say so myself after all. But then, seeing that of the deadly glare that almost reminds him so much of Recovery Girl, he couldn't help but laugh nervously and also in that of fear. Within, looking around, seeing that most of the beach looks like it's almost close to being fully completed. Then looking back at Izuku, he couldn't help but still smile, saying, "Even so, I know this is all your duties, but it really does help me a lot, and takes care of a lot of stress I was kinda having with training young Midoriya after all to handle One for All, to be honest." Then Izuku finally putting stuff away, and then huffing, saying, "Hey, are we done for today? After all, I still need to keep on training for what's to come." With All Might saying, "Yes, you can take a break here, young Midoriya, and that's my cue." As Young Chang spoke up, saying, "Leona, right, understand." The two Espers walked to Izuku, and you may be wondering, how did it come to this after the sledge villain incident? 3 months ago, right after that of the sledge incident, Izuku, awakening his surprisingly weird power that allows him to become that of his, Espers that he summoned, basically, reverted back to normal. Not to mention, as soon as he did, he soon passed right out. With going back to normal, then everybody was completely shocked as the pros were about to act. However, Ling Chao stepped in before them as the woman bearing that of the spirit of the white tiger of the west of China as her Esper abilities. She couldn't help but say, "Izuku, what did you do? And you look like old man, and you look like that of young John." Within Hung Yu, basically going through the crowd saying, "Excuse me, pardon me, doctor," coming through. Within, putting down her purse before soon materializing that of a mirror that almost looks like that of a crescent moon with multiple blossoming flowers on it too. Within, as it looks at that of Izuku, within she soon see that of his vitals, saying, his vitals are normal. A little bit for some reason. It put a lot of strain on him, but nothing too damaging, thankfully. It seems he's just passed out from exhaustion and strain, nothing more. Which he should be waking up soon. As then, one of the pros, Death Farms, spoke up saying, "Hey, who the hell are you two?" As he's about to run over to them. However, catching him off guard is that of Leona, having her spear and her multiple shields circling around her. But then saying, "If you have any intentions to hurt that of the commander Izuku, then you better prepare yourself. Within, even for pros, I will not allow those who get in the way of those who I protect." As she looks like she's about to get into a battle stance, but then her battle aura begins to erupt. As the pros, alongside that, the civilians are getting worried, thinking that another villain has stepped in before soon All Might comes in saying, Now, that would be unnecessary, everyone." As everybody see that of the number one pro, All Might once more, as All Might tries to convince that of the pros and that of the civilians that what the young man did was a good thing. Not to mention that these three young ladies are the boys' guardians after all. As Death Arms, Kamui Woods, and Mount Lady, alongside that of Backdraft, were caught off guard by this and wondering why All Might knows this. Especially Bakugo, who's still utterly in shock about what he saw about Izuku. Couple minutes in finally convincing them, Death Arms, alongside Kamui Woods, basically get to tell Izuku that he has a warning and not to use his quirk again. But then, Hong Yu basically say that he's quirkless. He doesn't have a quirk. He must have manifested during this stressful situation. And she basically berates the pros for not doing their job properly, where he wouldn't need to step in to save somebody. Just make sure you do your job. Then none of this would have happened after all. After saying her piece, she soon walks off, without just leaving that of the pros completely and utterly dumbfounded. But then Ling Xiao couldn't help but basically whistle. But then Leona not even say anything before bowing her head, but still following after them. As for All Might, that of the reporters and paparazzi basically were around and wanting to get autographs or an interview with him. However, he wanted to wait at least a little bit, allowing him to go. Since then, Izuku woke up, had a little interaction with Bakugo saying he didn't need him, and whatever the hell kind of power he has, it doesn't matter, because he'll still be the best no matter what to Izuku. That's the closest thing to an apology he's ever going to get from that of the spiky Pomeranian blonde. After all, heading back to his place, that's when All Might soon shows up, reverts back to his normal form, with even catching that of Hong Yu a little bit off guard, thinking that the man was already on the verge of death. She already starts checking him out, seeing his vitals, saying he literally lost half of his organs, wondering why the hell is he still being a pro when he's already looks like he's on the verge of dying. As for at least for a good few minutes, he literally scolded the hell out of All Might, telling him that he's a reckless, stupid, immature, arrogant, and naive man, think he can be a hero and protect others what would happen if his time limit kept on going and he kept on saving others, which soon led to that of Izuku. After that, Izuku had to step in to basically calm her down, and she listened. With that, soon All Might, still a little bit deflated from being roasted and basically criticized for his actions, finally pepped up and finally said the words that he should have said on that rooftop to Izuku, that he can become a hero. But finally hearing those words from his idol, even with or without them, he would still try to achieve and reach his goal of being a hero no matter what. But all the same, the words do mean a lot to the green-head boy. However, All Might soon offered that of one thing, and that being one for all. With this, it catches Izuku quite off guard, even that of the Espers too, with All Might continuing to explain that it's a quirk that's able to be passed down from one person to another as the quirk is cultivated, growing stronger with each user, becoming even more powerful. Within hearing that, Izuku couldn't help but say, wait, are you saying your quirk is caught off guard by that of Hong Yu saying, I figured as much. There's no way a person could have that much power unless the quirk was either trained from the day that they were born, or unless that there's some kind of power enhancement behind it. And given that Izuku always said that you don't use support gear, a quirk that is enhanced one after another by some other means, Ling Xiao couldn't help but have that of a feral grin on her face, showing that of her sharp teeth canines, as her tail is basically wagging, saying, oh yeah, now hearing that, that's an interesting battle. I've always wanted to fight you, All Might, but now, I don't know what to say when a quirk like this. All Might completely caught off guard, saying, I'm flattered. But then Izuku saying, wait, you want to give me your quirk? Saying, yes. What do you say, young man? Will you become my successor and inherit one for all from me? Hearing the words from his idol and the man he always looked up to the most and inspired him to be a hero, Izuku couldn't help but look down. He wanted to say yes, like right on the spot. However, he had to speak with that of his Espers, as he's saying, can you wait a little while, All Might? I think it's best if the others hear about this too, besides just these three. But then hearing that, All Might saying, wait, others? Wait, are you saying? But then Izuku saying, yeah, I have more than one Esper comrades after all. Please, can you please wait? I know they can keep a secret, promise. Within hearing that, All Might couldn't help but sigh, saying, I hate the fact that more people will know, but if you trust them, young Midoriya, I will trust them. But Hong Yu cutting in, saying, do not worry, All Might. Everything will be fine. Everybody can keep a secret. Even those who have no filter can actually keep a secret too. Trust us. Hearing that from the mature Chinese woman, All Might couldn't help but sigh, saying, all right then. before then giving his number to Izuku, telling him to contact him once he finally reaches an agreement. After that, Izuku heads back home. However, he's no longer living in that of the apartment complex that he used to with that of his mom. Now he's living in that of a pretty good house, still in Masafu, but wealthy enough to basically buy it. And it's all thanks to Alexa. Alexa, using her skills as that of a politician and also a former secretary of the mayor of the Golden City after all. Even though technically the Espers don't exist in this world and have no identities, she's not half bad with getting that stuff, to be honest. Even her shrewd business tidings after all, and willing to play loose and fast without the law after all. Due to this, she was able to at least find good ways for Inko to invest in the stock and that of certain stocks across that of the Japanese economy, and also get at least a few other, politicians that have at least some shady history here and there, bribe them to basically help her out, and voila, get a decent enough house where Inko and the other Espers can live. However, most of the Espers would prefer to live in their own places, such as Raven, Young-chan, and also Lin Xiao as well. But the others actually do end up staying with Izuku and Inko, mainly just to look after them. As for now, they're currently in that of a large, room with that of multiple couches and chairs, and in the center having that of a table with, surprisingly, a pretty good, hologram display of all of Japan, as it was kinda costly to get this thing. With then Raven saying, a quirk that can be transferred to others. Now that's something pretty interesting, as currently drinking some whiskey right now. With then Koharu saying, do you think you should take it, Izuku? I mean, you have us and we have been helping you. Within, Irina spoke up saying, whoa, hold up. Are we all forgetting something? Within, everybody looking at that of the, foxy-like Hispanic woman, she could help but say, Dios mío. I'm talking the fact that Izuku is able to use that of our Esper abilities by turning somewhat like us. Am I just the only one who's thinking that right now? Within, everybody in the room basically looks back at her, within all of them saying, not really, no. Within, ¿qué? As Leona, currently wearing some casual clothes and not wearing that of her battle attire like she always does outside of the house. And she's basically wearing a black tank top with that of baggy short sweatpants, with that of her legs crossed, saying it was crazy as well to think that the Commander Izuku is able to access her powers, even though he's not an Esper. It was something, but we're not too worried about that, to be honest. Then, Raven saying, I wasn't, to be honest. Still drinking that of her whiskey. Before then, she's saying, remember when I kept on saying that the kid had something special? Then, Izuku perked up by this, as Raven continued saying, my eye is more than just shot after all. Ever since I became an Esper, my eye can see through things that other people can't. And I've been able to see through people's quirks because of it. Most of their quirks tied to their personality or tied to other things as well. Not to mention their quirks are basically mirrors to their souls, to be fair. So there's that as well. When it came to Izuku, his soul was literally empty, to be honest. But as soon as he came in contact with that of the turntable, and we started taking looks at him, it began getting brighter and brighter. At first, I thought it was a quirk, but it wasn't. It wasn't part of his soul or basically corroding him or something like that. But instead, it was being channeled as time went on. And now I know. He's able to access our powers. Our powers as Espers from the gods and mythical figures that make up our powers. And it makes quite a bit of sense since he's our DJ. Then hearing that from the woman with the Esper abilities of Odin, Izuku saying, so I'm able to access every single one of your powers as Espers. If Izuku coming to that realization, part of him couldn't help but be at that of glee. But then soon, somebody just had to spoke up and basically pop his bubble. Actually, we don't know how long you'll be able to do so. You did pass out the first time you using it. As the one who spoke up was Alexa. Within, everybody looking at that of the purple net. Within, she couldn't help but say, as much as I would like to agree, and trust me, I really do, but let's test and see if you're able to even do it again. Within hearing that, everybody couldn't help but get a little bit excited and somewhat worried. Within, young Sean could help but spoke up saying, well then, let's head outside and see if he can. Outside of the new Midoriya residence is that of a wide open area. Not too wide, but at least big enough that there would be at least a little bit more room when Izuku needs to train or basically practice with that of the others. As Izuku and all of his Espers are outside, Koharu soon materializing in that of her basic combat attire. Soon, as then having that of her staff in her hands, as the bells begin to jingle, and hearing that of the ringing sound, with soon she swings it around before then brings it down, before soon seeing that of a large energy-like Torii gate materialize over that of the entirety of the backyard, as this being one of Koharu's specialties as an Esper, and one who bears that of the power of Ani no Uzumi, the Japanese Shinto goddess of dawn. As then she taking a deep breath with her saying, there, nobody will be able to see us. You guys, now, Izuku, do what you need to do. Hearing the words from his, Shintoist Esper, smiled in appreciation and nodded, before then thinking about that situation. The situation where he took that of Yang Chan's powers, where he gained the powers, Yang Jian. Within, he focused and continued trying to focus. But, once again, nothing happens. As Izuku could help but sigh, saying, nothing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Within Ravens, stepping up, saying, Izuku, looking at that of the 30-year-old, late 30-year-old, or current early 40-year-old woman, as being taller than Izuku, she could add the help with that of her heels as well. She couldn't help but spoke up saying, focus. You're not focusing enough because you're focusing on trying to channel that power. Focus on how you remember that power. What did you need to do to awaken it? Within, thinking back then, as running straight into that of the fray, trying to save Bakugo, and then wanting to be just like that of his master, the power of his master, Yongchan, the power of Yang Jian, is Izuku saying, I wanted to save Kachan. I wanted to protect him. I thought that if I had that of Master's powers, if I had Master Yongchan's powers, then maybe I could. Well, soon, she's saying, then remember that feeling. Remember that feeling of powerlessness. That feeling of not wanting strength, not having it, but wanting it more than anything. Call on it, while also thinking about Yongchan once again. Hearing all this, Yongchan couldn't help but also smirk as well, within saying, he thinks really so highly of me. I'm kind of embarrassed. Didn't think he would think of a criminal like me would be worth it. With Leona speaking up, as she couldn't help but be appalled of that of the self-loathing of Yongchan, with her saying, Mr. Yongchan, don't feel like that. After all, you have done so much for that of the Union. You killed that of bad man who deserved death, mainly because to protect the innocent who suffer because of them. If it's seen as a crime, then yes. But if it's seen as a crime to protect the others and protect those who can't protect themselves, then it's noble. Koharu spoke out once more, saying, I still think it's wrong to even kill in general, but it makes sense on why you have to. Ling Zhao spoke up as well, as patting him on the back multiple times, saying, come on, don't let it overwhelm you too much. You're better than this, man. Our adorable little bunny DJ holds you in such high regards. Don't be spatting shit like that when he needs somebody like you in his life after all. Within hearing that, Young Chan couldn't help but smirk, saying, if there's one thing that Izuku and I have in common, it's because we have that of self-doubt about ourselves. No matter how much hard work we put ourselves through, we feel like that we're still not enough. It's the reason why I can relate to the kid a lot. That we're not worthy of kindness or being cared of at all. Within, couldn't help but look down, but then having that of a small smirk. Within saying, but even so, I still wish to help him. And I'm still thankful that he thinks so highly of me. And I'm thankful for all of you being here as well. Means a lot. With that, all of them couldn't help but smile. Before then, a burst of energy begins to crackle. Within, Young Chan could feel a link between him and Izuku. It being that of the same link as before, saying, looks like he got it. As then in a burst of red energy crackling all around Izuku, as then he has the same attire and look as Young Chan in his default battle look. Black and red spear and all, and hair color too, but still having his messy hair and that of the glowing red eye in his forehead. Then soon he's saying, so this is what it feels like again. This power, this strength, the power of being an Esper once again. If even with this power, I can. Within, without warning, he soon basically goes right back into Izuku, back to 5-5 as before, and soon feels like he's about to pass out again. However, he stops himself as he goes down to his knees on the grass. Seeing this, the Espers couldn't help but rush towards Izuku, mainly that of Leona, Hongyu, Alexa, and Parmi as well, alongside that of Arena as well. Heading to that of the kid. But then, all of them were a little bit worried for Izuku. But then, he's saying, well, I couldn't hold it for so long, but it felt like I was in that form like for hours. But then Raven basically correcting him, saying, actually, you're only in that form for 1 minute. But then Izuku shocked, saying, wait, 1 minute? As Raven basically huffing before standing back up, saying, yeah, that's kind of pitiful, Izu. But totally understandable. Your body is new to this whole power thing, after all. It was like this for many other Espers as well. When they first gain their powers, at first, it exhausts them. Feeling like they've run for a marathon right after awakening their abilities, after all. It's happened with many of us. However, some were able to take a pretty quick, road to basically learning their powers. Looking at that of Young Chan, but then Young Chan couldn't help but wave as she signed, saying, as for you, you're still just a 14-year-old kid. You're coming up on 15 this year, so you got time to train. However, I don't think you should rely on our powers or our connection to our powers for at least the foreseeable future now. But then, hearing this, Izuku being checked up on by that of Hongyu, within, Izuku saying, but why? But then Hongyu can help but sigh, saying, isn't it obvious, Izu? Your body is not technically capable of handling our powers currently right now. You need to get used to it. Focus on that of improving yourself, getting stronger. Acclimate to each and every one of our powers outside of that of Hong Chan, after all. So, that means you need to rely on it more as a trump card, a last resort if you need be. That also means, within, she couldn't help but sigh, saying, you need to accept All Might's request on being his successor. You need to take one for all. Within hearing that, Izuku couldn't help but say, I really do? As Alexa soon spoke up saying, not right now at least, but it's up to you if you feel like it. We say that you think you might need to take one for all, just in case that either we're not around or you had to rely on that of the quirk you're given by All Might. Add that with our own training that you have been doing for the past 2 years, I think you should be able to handle his quirk pretty easily. But most likely there may be some shortcomings. But then he's saying, I kind of figured that, but what kind of? With thing being cut off by that of Hong Yu, she couldn't help but say, it's pretty obvious. You're be taking out of a foreign power just like that of the power that allows you to use our powers. A quirk that basically allows to change the weather, superhuman strength, speed, and power. Your body needs to work on that. So that also means, I need to prepare that of a workout routine. Yongchan, will you? But then he's saying, don't worry, I have your back. As the beautiful, fashionable medic couldn't help but smirk, saying, good. Now then, let me heal you. Then Alexa stopping her by having her hand out, with Hong Yoon basically shocked, as Alexa saying, allow me to do this. Don't waste your time with something so minor. As she looks back at Izuku, with Izuku feeling at least a little bit nervous around that of Alexis almost all the time, as when she looks at him, it's either that with that of looking like prey or with that of love, but mainly as that of prey. Before then, a pinkish aura begins to wrap around her, especially when she twirls her hands around, before then coming to her mouth with one as her index fingers towards her lips. She soon sends out of an air kiss towards Izuku, as it looks like that of a heart heading straight for him. As soon as the heart hits Izuku, his exhaustion and injuries soon begin to fade away. Feeling this, he soon goes back on his feet, jump around a little bit, saying, there we go. Thanks again, Alexis. And she couldn't help but giggle and laugh, saying, my pleasure, Izuku. But then a few of the girls couldn't help but get a little bit jealous at that. Before soon, that of the house door slides open, within being Drew, as he finally appears, saying, apologies for being so late. I made sure to bring that of beverages for all of you, and I like how you all prefer them after all. Hearing this from that of the jackal-headed Esper, they all head to that of the butler, within getting their own personal drinks, knowing which one is which. As Drew couldn't help but say, so, have we all made that of a decision? Or rather, has Master Izuku made his decision? Within, Izuku drinking his own drink, being that of a protein shake, before then saying, yeah, I have. We're going to be taking All Might's deal in getting his quirk. Within hearing that, Drew couldn't help but nod, saying, as you wish, young master. Whatever you decide, I will follow, no matter what. Hearing these words from Drew, Izuku couldn't help but smile, saying, thanks again, Drew. I always appreciate your support as well. But then, Drew couldn't help but close his eyes before then, putting that of the empty tray on his side, having his hands on that of his chest before bowing, saying, I live to serve. As a few of the Espers couldn't help but laugh, some couldn't help but smirk, and some couldn't help but roll their eyes while also smiling as well. After that meeting, Izuku called All Might and told him that he'll be taking his quirk, with All Might being happy and excited to have that of his chosen successor. But now, they're currently at Dagobah Beach, where Izuku's completely utterly shocked that he has to clean up the entirety of this beach, as Hong Yoon basically wanted to strangle the man after all, thinking that this is the stupidest training montage ever. Even All Might trying to explain that of his, training plan to get Izuku to the perfect weight, to the perfect, body type for the handle one for all. However, she wasn't having it. Already aware on that Izuku would basically overwork himself and possibly work out even more than he should have to stay on schedule after all. But then Yongchan basically spoke up too, saying that he has done it from time to time, especially when teaching him how to use a spear after all. And let's just say Izuku has basically hit himself, cut himself, and stabbed himself several times with a spear. He isn't that good with it unless until multiple training sessions. And seeing the fact that All Might's been ganged up on by that of Izuku's Espers, he had to basically remodel their entire plan. And with that of the help of the two Chinese Espers, they remodeled it to the point where Izuku would still have the perfect body he would need to work out, but also would still find the time where it doesn't overwork his muscles and body, and also time to continue his training and sparring with that of his Espers too. And since then, Izuku has been getting cleared to cleaning up the beach. It is going quite well as current now timeline, with Izuku taking a break and heading back home after All Might heads to the junkyard to take up the trash that they were able to get, with Izuku and the other Espers currently walking back home. However, currently in that of Tokyo, in that of an underground lounge where people are basically having fun, socializing, drinking, and also spending time together with others too. However, what's really about this club, about this underground lounge, is that somebody is singing, as the person singing being Raven, as this is one of the things to pay back that of Izuku, Inko, and everybody else as well. While trying to help him figure out that of the Esper abilities, she also sings around that of Tokyo and other district cities alongside Masafu as well, to pay back for letting her stay here, even though she was called by that of the turntable. But even so, she, as a free spirit, she enjoys basically roaming around that of the massive city of Tokyo, especially when driving her bike around. But nothing gives her blood going even more when she starts to sing, to be honest, especially for a crowd. But then, finishing up her song, everybody in the lounge can help but clap for her as she gives that of the crowd a bow, but then getting paid by that of the manager, but then saying, not half bad actually, with then realizing you gave me more than usual. As the manager, being a guy with that of dog ears and looks like he's pushing in his 30s, saying, hey, we don't get a lot of amazing singers like you. Most of the time we had to basically hire that of, wannabe idol girls after all, especially underground idols. And those girls basically like to give stupid songs singing about that of heroes after all. It's not that we don't like pro heroes, it's just that people are tired and want something new. You always gives us at least something that's a lot more, beautiful. So of course, I'll paying you extra as always. But then she's saying, appreciate it. And if you like, I can make some room for you for another gig. Some friends of mine are looking for a person to sing up backup after all. One of their backup singers basically canceled last minute. And it's a pretty important gig. So I'm wondering if you could help out? Sure. It depends though. I got some other plans to take care of as well, so saying, don't worry, I'll give you a heads up whenever it's time. And if you can't make it, then you can't make it. I'll let them know. But again, thank you, Miss Raven. I really appreciate you always coming to this lounge. As the dog man couldn't help but bow his head, saying, I just love doing what I'm doing. Nothing more and nothing less. As she soon walks off and waves her hand back. And soon leaves out of the office before walking upstairs and then materializing that of her bike with a crackle of lightning. Then about to get on it, before then soon her wings materialize, sending that of a jolt of lightning towards somebody, saying, you always play this all the time, Mr. Hobo Man. Looking at the person with that of her one good eye, as the person that dodged that of a lightning strike from that of Raven, being a certain pro hero that we all know and love, and some of us love to hate from time to time. Wearing all black, having that of a white scarf that almost looks like it's alive, shaggy black hair, and that of yellow goggles on his face. As this being Eraserhead, aka Shota Aizawa, saying, and you always causing a bit of trouble when you use your quirk, saying, told you, it's not really my quirk. But of course, it's not like you're gonna listen after all. Then, the man using his quirk erase on her, believing his bike is about to go. However, every time when he does, it doesn't. But then realizing, oh God, what the hell is with her and her quirk that I can't erase it? But then saying, later, or are we gonna do another chase today? Because if we are, but then revving her throttle as the engine purrs, at the same time lightning crackles through that of the engine and the wheels, saying, because I'm up for a chase, how about you, Mr. Hobo? But then he couldn't help but get annoyed, saying, personally, I would. However, but then stop using his quirk as his hair goes back down, saying, we all know that I don't have time to waste on you. It could be used as time to help others in need. So I'm just gonna give you at least that of another warning, unless I have to call him back up. Try and stop using your quirk in public, especially your quirk that makes you create that motorcycle. I've never seen a quirk that uses both lightning and materialization and matter creation at the same time. But then Raven couldn't help but smurf, saying, well, that's because you haven't met somebody like me before. Catch you later, Eraser. And she couldn't help but look like it blinked. She was blinking, however, she was actually winking right at that of Aizawa before kicking the stand and then riding right out of the alleyway. Well, then soon, Aizawa couldn't help but remove his goggles and then saying, when did my life become like this? Ever since that foreigner woman, possibly German, has shown up here in Japan, she's been a really big thorn on a lot of pros, especially underground pros such as myself. But then Aizawa couldn't help but sigh, saying, next time I get her, no more warnings. Uses her quirk without permission again, I am soon going to, she is done for, taking her out, peacefully or not. With that, Aizawa flies off using his scarf once more, and then jumping from rooftop to rooftop, going on his patrol before having to go back to UA. As for Raven, currently driving all the way back home before thinking, Izuku should be back home, right? Maybe this is a good time to ask him to do a little favor for me. Back at the Midoriya residence, Izuku relaxing a little bit in that of their, meeting room, within saying, what? Wait, you want me to? With Raven having her arms crossed, couldn't help but sigh, saying, I want you to try to summon at least a few more Espers. Just asking. But then, Young Chuan could help but say, really? You want him to summon now? Right after his training with All Might this evening? With then, Alexis saying, what? Actually, that seems like a good idea. Think about it. Some of us may have time to go and spend time with Izuku, especially wait for him when classes are done. But when it comes to UA's curriculum, there's not a lot you can talk about. I even hear that some students have to sign an NDA to make sure that they don't basically talk about that of UA's curriculum on the internet. If they even do, and the school finds out, they'll be expelled and removed from the school at all, possibly from other hero schools as well. If he can get some Espers that can actually keep an eye on him and look after him for the meantime, then Drew couldn't help but spoke up, saying, that is a good idea. I wanted to say it myself, but I didn't want to seem like I was out of line or asking young Master Izuku too much. But then hearing that, Izuku saying, oh, Drew, I've told you this before. Even Mom said, you can always say what's on your mind, no matter what. While Drew was drinking some tea, saying, I appreciate your words, young master, but it's all up to you. But then, Izuku hearing that, he couldn't help but say, all right, why not? I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Little did Izuku know, he was going to regret that. Heading to his bedroom, getting that of the turntable, placing it on that of the holographic table, within, opening it up, before then soon having that of the record scratch, before then spinning it and then saying, drop the beat. As then the crystal inside soon falls into that of the vortex. As multiple colors begin to go in that of Izuku's eyes as before, that's when that of the turntable lights begin to come out of it as well, and then circle around that of the massive room, as it being that of 3 more lights, as they all soon materialize in that of the room, and soon seeing that of 3 figures. One being that of a man that looks like at least in that of his late 20s or early 30s, as he's also African American like that of Drew, as he has that of a black and purple suit with that of black coattails around that of the suit. That of a, silverish pants, black and gold, dress shoes, an eye, that of a, purple gem in the center of his suit as well, that almost looked like that of an eye, and also has that of long white spiked hair that covers that of the right side of his face. However, he also wears that of a black mask over his mouth and under his nose. As he soon materializes that same crystallized eye that's in the center of his chest, around that of him he has that of multiple floating golden ankhs around it. The other being that of a young man with that of dark navy blue skin, with that of spiky black hair, light blue eyes, with that of blue sharp horns that come out that of the side of his head, wearing that of a white beater t-shirt, baggy blue pants, and a sleeveless shroud jacket, before materializing around him being that of a somewhat tribalistic chain sword. And the last one being that of a, young woman that's actually quite short, to be honest, as she has that of messy, long, grayish blue hair, as it's also tied up in that of a ponytail. However, you could see like tons of stuff in it from that of candy, buttons, and other stuff, as she's wearing that of a lime green visor, and that of a short dark green dress, while also wearing that of a dark green jack coat over the dress. As from that of her current appearance, she kind of has the look of that of a short stack, if you do say so. Not to mention the massive bushy tail she has too, with also tons of junk in it too. Not to mention her arms are actually have that of fur on them, with that of massive paws. However, under that of her paws is that of normal hands. As then the 3 Espers soon materialize, as many of the already summoned Espers that Izuku has couldn't help but have that of looks of enjoyment, happiness, and somewhat trepidation as well. Within, Parmy soon enters in that of the room saying, "Oh, did Izuku bring in more Espers? I'm guessing we should probably make some more space." Within, soon, that of the wolf or dog-shaped girl couldn't help but look at that of Parmy saying, "Ah, Parmy!" Jumping towards her, as she soon basically rushed towards her like that of a dog rushing to her owner, and jumps onto her and basically rubbing her cheek onto Parmy saying, "Oh, it's so good to see you again. I'm glad that we could spend time together as always." But then Parmy couldn't help but smile saying, "Good to see you too, Camilla. As lively as always." With Raven couldn't help but sighing saying, "Well, this isn't the Espers I expected we would get, but hey, better than nothing." Within, seeing the blue-skinned man saying, "Wow, talk about rough, director. And I thought for sure that you would like to see us again." Within, Raven couldn't help but sigh saying, "Hopefully you'll actually have some time to slack off as much as you before, but you'll still have a job to do, Arnon." Figures. Within, Raven looking at that of the African American young man saying, "Good to see you again, Faulkner." Within, Faulkner also basically having his right hand towards his chest and his left hand towards his back saying, "Pleasure as always, Director Raven." Within, noticing Drew saying, "Drew, Faulkner." with Izuku wondering, I'm guessing that there's some tension between the two, with Young-chang saying, not necessarily. Let's just say the two can get along and work together, but they have at least a bit of a rivalry with one another. That's all. They take their jobs way too seriously, with Izuku nodding saying, that makes way too much sense. With soon, hearing that of Izuku's voice, as Carmilla actually kind of wondering what's going on, who said that, as she's not familiar with the voice, before noticing Izuku. As soon as she does, she couldn't help but have her cheeks begin to go red, and soon she's completely and utterly dumbfounded looking at Izuku. Before then, you could see that of committed hearts in her eyes, and having that of a smile of pure and utter joy and excitement. Within, soon, Parmy couldn't help but smile, saying, oh dear, jumping off of Parmy and heading straight for Izuku, as Izuku was completely utterly shocked, while all the other Espers were actually dumbfounded. Even that of Young Chuan, who could have seen that coming, was actually completely dumbfounded as his powers weren't activating. Within, seeing that of the dog-looking Esper basically nuzzling and basically wrapping her entire body around that of the 14-year-old kid. Within saying, he's so adorable, so cute, so soft, so lovable. I've never thought I would meet somebody so sweet. As Izuku, on the other hand, is basically blushing completely red. You can see literal steam coming out of his ears and swirls out of his eyes as well. The fact that he's basically being hugged on by that of a woman he just met no sooner than just now. With that, all the other Espers can help but think, oh boy, looks like our couple years is going to be quite something with her. And with that, another training session with All Might, and also Izuku gaining new Espers has arrived. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Love to read them. So, how did you guys like this part? More of an introduction, once again, to adding that of Izuku's roster as well. Not to mention Izuku training to gain that of One For All. I was surprised that many of you guys decided to allow him to have One For All, to be honest. I was expecting some of you guys to say no, which again, pretty surprising. Adding the concept of Izuku gaining the powers of other Espers, add that with One For All, Izuku will probably be OP as hell, but a temporarily OP boost, to be fair. Like I've always said, I don't want to make Izuku too overpowered. When it comes to what is, I'm not trying to make that of a power fantasy after all. This is still a shonen what if. But all the same, I'm still loving this what if and continuing doing it after all. Also, if you guys are wondering which Espers from each Pantheon mythology that Izuku's having, I'll probably be posting at least a few of them day by day just so you guys can know what's caught up after all. So yeah, at any rate, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification to keep up to date with my videos uploaded to the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, my gaming channel, my other channel, my side channel, my Patreon, and my Cash App. All linked in the description below. So, with all that said, this is Leon signing out. Later, guys. Hope you all take care. Take it away, Shiro.
Hi, everyone. This is White Fox. If you liked Leon's video, click the video on the left to see the most recent one. And if you want to see more of this, click the subscribe button and notification bell. And check out his playlists. If you still haven't subscribed, do so in the center. With that said, I hope to see you again on my love's channel. Bye!